of Jagannath today is the Patita-pāvana pastime. So what happens is, there were kings who were ruling Orissa. It was called Utkala Desha. So Utkal Desh is Orissa. So then at that point it was Raja Ramachandra Dev who was ruling Orissa. Now Raja Ramachandra Dev was a very staunch devotee of Jagannath, and he always wanted to protect his deity, because that was the time when the Mughal emperors were attacking India, and then they were destroying temples, and as much as possible they would not allow temples to exist. So then Raja Ramachandra Dev was very, very particular that he doesn't lose Jagannath Mandir, because Jagannath Mandir is not a temple from Kali Yuga. It comes from the previous yugas. So then when Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj is talking about this, he also mentions that nobody knows the date of when Lord Jagannath appeared. So we can't put a date to say, oh, this is the time when Jagannath appeared, right? So I will go back to giving a quick story on the appearance of Lord Jagannath and the temple itself with King Indradyumna, if possible today or in the next session. So what happened? So Raja Ramachandra Dev, Jagannath was very close to his heart, and same with this temple. Now what happens, at some point, Taki Khan, who was ruling Delhi, he wanted to attack Orissa. So when he attacked, Raja Ramachandra Dev really fought very fiercely to protect Orissa, Utkal Desha, so that he can protect Jagannath, but he couldn't. He lost in the battle. So Taki Khan took him under his, imprisoned Raja Ramachandra Dev and took him with him. Now Taki Khan is thinking, what should I do? There are two ways by which I can use this king. One is that I can finish him, kill him. Another way is to make him marry my sister so that he'll become my relative, and also I will have him take taxes. All that money that comes to Jagannath Mandir, he should pay part of it as tax to me. So he said, this is a good idea. Instead of killing him, I'll make money out of him, right? So he went to Raja Ramachandra Dev and he said, you should marry my sister. Her name is Rasiya. So then Raja Ramachandra Dev said, I'm so sorry, I cannot do that. Yeah, you're from a different caste, so it is not possible for me, and I'm a king. I have responsibility, so I cannot do it. That's it. So then he said, no problem, then I will destroy your temple, I will finish all the people. He threatened him and he went away. So in the night, someone approaches Raja Ramachandra Dev in his prison. Who is it? It was Rasiya, who was the sister of Raja Ramachandra Dev. So when she approached, she spoke to him and she said, my dear king, why don't you marry me? He's saying, I can't marry you because you're Taki Khan's sister, you're not a Hindu, so how can I marry you? So then she said, you know what, my mother is a Hindu, and she is a big devotee of the Lord. So, and just marry me for namesake. You don't need to marry me to actually consider me as your wife. Right? So then, and then she said also that more than for any other reason, the major reason why you should marry me is so that you can protect the temple and you can protect the deities from getting destroyed. So your duty towards the Lord is more important than towards your citizens. So Raja Ramachandra Dev thought about it the entire night, and then the next morning when Taki Khan came back, he agreed. He said, okay, I will marry your sister. So then marriage happened, and Raja Ramachandra Dev came back to Utkala Desha. He was released and he came back to Utkala Desha. But then what happened is, even now only Hindus are allowed inside the Jagannath Mandir. And even if some people come in who are from other countries, other castes, no one is allowed inside Jagannath Puri. And that's why Lord Jagannath is very merciful. And so instead of, because he understands that there are devotees in other countries, in other parts, in other castes. So many people who love him so much. So to show his mercy and to relate to his devotees, the Lord comes out of the temple. Right? I've quoted this multiple times in the previous years when we talk about Jagannath Katha. Again, I'm quoting the same point, that in all the other temples, in South India also Rath Yatra happens. But there is a deity inside the Garbhagriha who is the main deity. Sthapana ho gaya hai, and that deity is inside the Garbhagriha. He cannot be moved out of his place. There is a smaller set of deities who will be brought out for Rath Yatra, for Snana, for whatever purposes that happens otherwise. Only in Jagannath Puri this happens, that the main deity of Jagannath himself comes out of the Garbhagriha. It is not any secondary murtis, right? So there is Utsava Murti, we call it. Thank you, Geeta Mataji. So we call it the Utsava Murti. Now, Utsav is festival. No, to celebrate festivals, we only bring those little deities in the front. But Jagannath says, because I am the Lord of Kali Yuga. Let us remember this very, very carefully. He is the Lord of Kali Yuga and he is present pratyaksha. And he deals with his devotees in real. That is the speciality of Jagannath. So, what he does is he says, I'm not going to send anyone else as my representative. I am going to come out myself. So the Lord comes out and he sits on the Rath Yatra. Now, so this I gave us a background. We went on a little bit of a detour to understand how the Lord himself comes out. Because the Pandas and the people who are managing the temple do not allow anyone other than Hindus to enter the temple. So the Lord is merciful and he comes out to give the darshan. Now, next thing that happens is he comes back and he is not allowed to enter the temple. All the Pandas and the Brahmanas, they said, I'm sorry, you're not a Hindu anymore, so you cannot enter the temple. Raja is trying to explain that I did this to save the temple, to protect Jagannath, but they're saying, we're sorry, you're ostracized from the community, so you should leave. That's also they sent him out of Utkala Desha, so he went out. Now Raja Ramachandra Dev was not just a king, and just for the sake of action, he did not sit there acting as if he was a devotee. He was a true devotee of the Lord. Sometimes we think people in great positions cannot be devotees and cannot have that kind of a sincere feeling towards the Lord, because we hear very often Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribihi Edha Mana Madhav Puman. When we have Janma, great birth, Aishwarya, great wealth, Shruta, great knowledge. Shruta is Shruti, hearing, because of which we get knowledge. Shruta, Shri, which is beauty. When we have great knowledge, beauty, great birth, great wealth, then Kunti Maharani says, people who have this automatically become very intoxicated by getting attached to these opulences. So for them, the sincere feelings do not generate within themselves. But there are always amazing exceptions for this role also. Kunti Maharani herself was a great example. She had all of this and still she was saying, Krishna, give me only vipatti, because when you give me vipatti, I can see you, I can call for you and you immediately appear and I can get your darshan. What more do I want? Right? So she says, don't give me sampatti, give me vipatti. Raja Ramachandra Dev was one of those exceptions. So what he did, every night, Raja Ramachandra Dev would come back in his horse to take darshan of the deity, of the temple. So then, whenever he would come, he wouldn't see the deities. Initially, he used to go inside, take darshan of the deities. Now, he was very sad, so one night he sat and cried. He said, Jagannath, I did this for you, but now I cannot see you, right? So then the Lord immediately appeared in front of him in Simhadwara. Now Raja Ramchandra Dev got extremely happy. He said, wow, my Lord is here. He took darshan. He was very, very pleased. He took darshan. Then morning he went back before anybody came to the temple. So then after that, all the brahmanas, the pandas, everybody come in to open the temple. Now they are seeing from Simhadwara to Singhasana, there's quite a distance. And what happens is before they close the temple in the night, which is closed for very few hours, before that they wash and clean the entire temple. So that the next morning when they start the Aarti and Bhoga Seva and all other worship related activities, it would be clean. So then the Pandas came and they saw all the way from Simhadwara to Singhasana, there was flowers fallen down, tulsi leaves fallen down, and it is going all the way into the Singhasana. They're wondering, maybe the guys who cleaned it has not cleaned it well. How could this happen, that there are flowers here? They didn't take it seriously. They told the people, you have not cleaned well. Yesterday there were petals and tulsi leaves of the deities that were down, so you should clean it well. And they said, okay, definitely we'll take care of it tonight. So they cleaned well and they went. Again Raja Ramchandra Dev came. Again Jagannath came to Simhadwara to give the darshan. And then, so this way, 2-3 days, it went on like this. And then the Pandas are asking these people that are cleaning, how are you not cleaning it well? I'm telling you every day. They're saying we're cleaning every day. You stay back and watch it tonight. They're watching, they're going back, they're seeing the same thing next morning. And now they're wondering what's happening. Is there some thief who's coming here robbing something? Are we missing something? We're not missing anything. What's going on? How could this work out like this way? How can the petals and this thing should fall down? And then Jagannath appears in the dream of head pujari. Jagannath is known to appear in the dreams of his devotees and give them messages. In fact, his own appearance as Jagannath, as his Daru Brahman, as the Chaturdha Murti also happened because he came in the form of Jagannath in the dream of King Indradyumna, and he told him, this is the form I will come in, and you can go ahead and do this. On the shore of this this river, there will be wood that will come and settle. Take that wood and then carve it, and I will be in this form. From then onwards, so many times, many times, in a few other pastimes that we are going to listen to today also, we will see how Jagannath appears in the dreams. So he appears in the dream of the head pujari, and he tells him that you guys stopped my great devotee Raja Ramchandra Dev from taking my darshan. So I have come out to give him darshan. So don't worry, it is the flowers that are falling down because I am walking outside from my Singhasan. That's it. The head pujari immediately went and told everyone that this is what I got in my dream. And Jagannath told this to me. And then they realize, wow, that is amazing. So for people who are on Facebook, you may not be able to see. You can quickly type Patita-pāvana Jagannath Puri. Type it on Google and find out. You will see the deity. So what happened? Immediately there was another Jagannath deity who was made and kept in Simhadwara so that Raja Ramchandra Dev can take his darshan, so that Jagannath does not move out of the Singhasan and come out. Okay. So then what happens always is, as soon as the first morning darshan begins, initially the Pandas would open the Patita-pāvana Jagannath. They will offer Aarti to that Patita-pāvana, and then only they can enter in and go to Singhasan, the Jagannath inside the Garbhagriha. So From then, for the sake of his devotee, Jagannath had insisted that a Patita-pāvana has to be out. So what is the meaning of Patita-pāvana? Why the name Patita-pāvana? Now what did everybody say when he got married and came Raja Ramachandra Dev? They said that you are fallen. For whatever reason you did, you are fallen. So fallen in Sanskrit is Patita. Right? Those who are fallen. Pāvana is to protect. Pāvana Rakshaka is to protect, one who takes care. So then, since he is the protector or the caretaker or the well-wisher of the fallen, the so-called fallen in the eyes of human beings, we are very quick to judge, right? Unfortunately, we may have devotees that we've dealt with for a long time. We may have seen devotees serve for a long time, but then our small brains immediately start judging people. Oh, how could they do this? How could they do that? And then we start commenting on it, right? We start wagging our tongue. And it's very simple sometimes to wag our tongue against or speak gossip about other people. But what Jagannath does, this is a great quality of the Lord, and the Lord does not accept when another devotee is being spoken ill of. So what does the Lord do? The Lord connects with the devotee stronger. Now imagine Raja Ramachandra Dev could have fought with all the Pandavas and said, get out all of you, and I'm going to finish all of you. He's my deity. I am the king of the land. Now I have come back. He didn't do one thing. So what happens? Jagannath became all the more merciful. He said, oh my God, this person is not even fighting for himself. So I am going to ensure that I shower my mercy.